We infilled the wall cavities of the Earth Berm Cottage with a combination of cob and light clay straw. Check out the video notes for a link to an article about the thermal and structural properties of cob. Throughout this video, I'll cover some of my other reasons for taking this approach. So I'll be attaching little burning strips to the inside of each one of these stud bays just to provide a little mechanical key for when these get infilled with cob. Just keep the cob from falling out of the wall. These are I just ripped down a bunch of some warped 2x4s I had to make this. So 3/4 inch by 1/2 inch. So I'm mixing up a borax solution to spray on the studs. So I'm just using borax, this 20 mil borax. It's 10 ounces of borax, and then you get 6 ounces of hot water. Stir that up. And then you add a gallon of water. I used a concrete mixer to make cob. First I put some water in the chamber and then add 7 to 10 shovelfuls of dirt. And then I add a few handfuls of straw followed by another 7 to 10 shovelfuls of dirt. Here's some ratios, but you get a feel for what a good cob mix looks like pretty quickly. For dirt, I'm using sandy loam from a landscaping yard. I found you only really want a small amount of clay and a lot of sand in your dirt. So since our subsoil is predominantly clay, I had to outsource. Since cob is less fluid than concrete, it will stop mixing with the chamber in the inclined position. So once I add all of the materials, I tilt the barrel almost parallel to the ground to finish the job. A good cob mix should roll along the side of the chamber and have a sheen kind of like worn leather. I use strips of 1/2 inch plywood fastened to the studs as temporary forms to contain the cob. 2 foot tall pieces seem to work pretty well. With the first course, it's a bit of a reach to get to the bottom of the wall cavity, but you can lap subsequent courses over the previous course. Here's some other notes regarding forms. 1/2 inch plywood seems like the minimum thickness for the forms. 3 inch plywood will bow out in the middle and you'll have kind of an undulating wall. If your studs are spaced wider than 24 inches apart, I would go with 3/4 inch plywood for your forms. Attach the forms to each stud with screws spaced 12 inches apart. If you only screw in the top and the bottom of a 2 foot tall form, it will bulge in the middle. Coating the forms with vegetable oil did seem to help make the removal cleaner, but I wouldn't say it's an essential. pack the walls, I would drop 3 or 4 big handfuls of cob into the wall cavity and then smash them down with my hands, working the cob around the 1x2 key and any fixtures in the wall. Typically, after packing a section of wall, I would leave the forms on for a day before removing them, but occasionally, I remove a form an hour or so after packing, and I did not have any issues with slumping. It was hot and dry here, so the cob seemed to dry really fast. However, I don't think I would ever try to go up more than 2 feet every couple of days. Light clay straw is straw coated in clay slurry or slip. We harvested the clay for our slip from one of the many piles created by the natural swimming pool excavation. For more details on that project, check out the video notes above. Slip should be roughly 1 part clay and 4 parts water. I typically look for the consistency of a melted milkshake. This batch actually has a little too much clay. I'll fast forward to the end, and you can see when I pull the mixer out, it leaves a slight impression. Thick slip isn't a big deal. It doesn't coat the straws evenly, but in this case, after I use some of the slip, I just added more water and got to the right consistency. Oh, very good. It's got trace. It's a little bit thick, but light clay straw is significantly more insulative than cob. We packed in the front wall of the cottage and in the upper sections of the walls on the berm sides. The install is similar to cob, using plywood as temporary forms. However, it's much faster in cob as you can remove the forms almost immediately after packing a section. Here's a little trick I learned building the cabin. You install your windowsills with screws. You can remove them to make infilling easier and then pop the sills back on later. We held 3 work parties to knock out the bulk of the work. Here's a time lapse of the last one where we finished infilling the walls. While the time lapse is rolling, I'll put up some reasons why I like cob and light clay straw, followed by material and labor cost, so hang in there.